Right, Rob, J. King, and Sam Packard present Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle. Oh, yeah! Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle. And a 19. Jalen Brown, D. White, Crazy Joe. Steel Bottle. When Tatum coming back. Steel Bottle. Oh, yeah!
Come on, long guy wants to lose. Don't get the next generation.
Let's go,
Your family.
Celtics. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Your
Family.
Celtics, let's go.
Let's go, baby! Welcome back to Still Potable, the best Celtics podcast here on Al Gore's internet. I am Sam Jam Packard, professional sports fan, joined by the kid, the god, the legend himself, Celtics beat reporter from The Athletic, Mr. Finding Forrester himself, teacher of youths writing across the greater Boston area, Jay King, ladies and gentlemen, just molding young minds left and right. We are Still Potable. We are, along with Brian Robb from MassLive.com, a Monday through Friday Boston Celtics podcast. You can get all of our content. Subscribe today, patreon.com/stillpotable. We got game recaps. We're ramping up for this playoff run. We've got an amazing chat community. And then we are also here for you on the CLNS Media Network. Use the promo code CLNS and you'll get $50 off your first $5 when you download Prize Picks. Jay King, you are fresh off a trip to Atlanta. I'm assuming you went to Magic City after you were so thrilled with their sponsorship performance.
I did not go to Magic City.
I can't besmirch your good name.
I've never been to Magic City. The Wings are just a mythical object to me.
You got some support in chat already from Rui Mask. Abolish the wave. That's an auspicious start to the program. But you've been following the Celtics on the road. This weird road trip to end the season. Clearly, they during this road trip they clinched the playoff run, and I figured we would start off this podcast just talking about what do you think the Celtics rotation is going to be when they actually enter the playoffs. We've seen Joe play a number.
Are we doing minutes projections right now?
I wasn't prepared for it, but I think we should do minutes projection. I think
Let's do minutes projections.
Now I got to do all sorts of math and figure out how many minutes 48 times 5 is 240. You want to do a full 240 minutes per projection for the playoffs? Or are we doing averages per game?
Let's do it.
All right, let me open my Excel spreadsheet right here. Because I think the big question is, and we saw like with the different lineups, like Tatum and Mimi did not play against the Hawks, and so we saw Jordan Walsh getting the start. Really, this is a Jordan Walsh-based exercise. But yeah, let's figure out. How many minutes do you think like the starting lineup's pretty? Here's the first question: do you think they stay with Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench for the playoffs?
Yes.
And so how many minutes do you think Peyton Pritchard is getting off the bench?
28? How many does he average?
You're the one who's supposed to have the information.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 28. He's averaging 30. No, we'll go more than that. 30, 33, 34.
Well, let's go 33 so we have some more minutes to use up when we go to the end of this. All right. I think the next big question is, where do you think Jason Tatum is? Is he still on a minutes restriction at this point? Because he played a fair share of that game against the Hornets.
Joe Mazzulla said there's no number anymore.
Yeah, but Joe Mazzulla's a liar. On his first game back, said there was no minutes.
You cannot trust what Joe Mazzulla says about minutes restrictions. We haven't seen him play more than 37 minutes yet. So while that is close to limitless, not exactly limitless. So once we see him get to like 40, 42, I'll say there's no minutes restriction. But for now, it feels like there's probably like capped at 37 or so, which is still really high and still way more than I expected at this point.
What did he
in his
play
recovery.
in the playoffs last year? What was the minutes averages for Tatum? Because I feel it's over 40 minutes a game.
It was probably close to 40. I'm going to go with 38 for him. Last year's playoffs, he's played basically 40 minutes per game in the playoffs for each of the past 4 years. One of those years he was 41.
Was that the championship year?
That was the finals year, but not the championship year. Championship year he played 40.4 minutes per game.
It would make sense to me that he plays a lot of minutes, but gets a little bit of a down tick in that. Although, if they're going to have to play, how much do you think they're going to play him at the 5 this year, just given where they are with this roster? Like,
well,
they didn't need to
a lot
do that.
depends on what Vooch looks like when he gets back and how everything looks like with Vooch and whether Vooch can handle like being on the court and getting hunted by whoever. I don't know, Jalen Brunson in maybe the second round or Donovan Mitchell.
But the thing, Vooch or Garza can't handle being hunted by anyone. And so it's like, how much are they going to try to survive these minutes, these non-Nemi minutes, by having a traditional lumbering white backup center?
Yeah, and I honestly think you can be okay because you're going to have a ton of size. You're going to have – they just have a lot of defensive options, like 6'7" guys who can badger you a little bit. Vucevic, it's not like he's the world's greatest rim protector, but he's also 7 feet tall. Like, he's a presence in there. And I think you can get away with that in most matchups, at least against like the second unit. Like Jalen Brunson sits, Miles McBride is out there, and you're like, all right, that's cool. Go ahead and try to target Vooch. Like, you might score.
You're not scared of Jose Alvarado coming in as the backup big and just targeting
Jose Alvarado has a lot of energy.
He does.
But dusting backup bigs, I don't think that's it really in his skill set. So, yeah, I do think like maybe you go small to Tatum at times, but I'm also like, all right, let's say Nemi is playing like 30 minutes a game in the playoffs.
I'm locking him in on my spreadsheet for 30. He needs to play 30. He actually is so valuable to this team that he, like, for them to be their most effective, he needs to give them at least 30 minutes so they're not scrambling for 15 plus minutes of a non-Nemi lineup where they have to either go Tatum small or like, I would actually prefer to see Nemi closer to 35. I don't know if he can do 35, but I think they're just so much better. And I don't know what the lineups are in terms of, because Garza's been pretty effective, but in the playoffs, I feel like you want Nemi in there more often because Tatum at the 5 is like a thing you can do, but I don't think it's the strongest defensive lineup they can put out there. And so I would want Nemi to play more than 30 minutes a game. I don't know if he's necessarily capable of it. I think it's shocking to be saying this about considering where I was on Nemi before the season.
You are the biggest Nemi converter.
He's proven me wrong. He's been absolutely fantastic this year. And what is the Celtics numbers with Nemi off the court compared to Nemi on the court?
Not as good. And we saw sort of the lack of depth the other night. And Amari Williams was fine. Charles Bassey had some moments.
The Bassmaster had good 2 minutes.
And Garza was incredible offensively. His decel is like the funniest thing in the world to me. Like he's already slower than basically anyone in the NBA, but one of his super productive moves is slowing down way more than he's already slow, and it somehow works every single time. He has an incredible decel. Like, you don't see that out of big guys a lot. Most big guys are just trying to dunk on you, and he's like, nope, I'm going to slow all the way down. I am going to just reach a slow pace that nobody else can keep up with. They're going to move too fast for me.
You missed it last night because you were at the game, but Max was on the broadcast, And he did that early on. And Drew was like, with the decel step. And Cedric Maxwell had never heard the term decel before and was just absolutely flabbergasted and
That's
just like
great.
rejected out of hand. And I thought that was fantastic.
That's great. Deceleration. It means deceleration.
Oh, thank you, Jay. That's why you moldy young minds finding Forrester over here.
Why are you taking shots at me?
It's kind of like the whole dynamic. We've been podcasting together for what, 8-9 years now. It's kind of.
Should I give a shout out to my own new company?
Yeah, I've been giving. That's why I've been doing it. I've been wanting you to kind of hopefully you take the bait and promote yourself. You're terrible at self promotion.
I'm horrible at self promotion, but I'm now available as a writing coach, and I want to work with high school students, college students, whoever wants to improve at writing. It doesn't have to be someone who wants to get into sports journalism. I've done some tutoring with kids who just like normal high school students want to get better at writing, and that's it. Like, and it's so rewarding for me because you see the person get better and better. You see them like start to like writing a little bit and get some passion for it. And it's like the coolest thing in the world. It takes me back to sort of when I was like coaching high school basketball shortly after college. And it's awesome. And so if you want to learn from me, if you want to sign up to work with me, go to nextlevelwritingcoach.com. And yeah, I'm coaching writing these days. I hope it's pretty cool.
I think it's a cool thing because, like, at least when I was in high school, writing was always just like such a chore because it's like you had to write about Macbeth, and it's like I didn't read Macbeth. I'm going to try to fake a paper based on the Cliff Notes. And so I don't think I got like anywhere decent on writing until I was just like forced to do it a bunch in law school. But it just makes things like so much easier to be able to just kind of like express those things. So if you can inspire just one child, Jay King, just one child, it's cool that you're making a difference. And so if your kid,
I hated writing too. And like, I did not like writing at all. Didn't really love school at all. But I had to start a blog for a class. I've probably talked about this on the podcast, I'm sure, how I got into Celtics writing. But I had to start a blog for a class my senior year of college. And I was like, you know what? I love basketball. I love the Celtics. Let's do it. And just kind of fell in love with writing about the Celtics and just never stopped. And I've had to teach myself everything along the way and learn some valuable lessons along the way. And so if I can give that spark to somebody else, like, that's really meaningful to me. So yeah, nextlevelwritingcoach.com. Come write with me.
all right, if you have to give one sneak peek of a tip you would give, like what's your tip for writing the best lead on a game story? Because when I wrote for WEI.com, I was always trying to do jokes, and Rob Bradford, my editor at the time, I don't think really edited at all, but he did not appreciate the goofs I was going for. So would you suggest jokes in the lead for a game story?
It depends if they're good.
It's a fair answer, Jay.
But
they were not. None of them were.
It's also, if it's like a young high school student, like, I'm not going to stop you from being creative. Like, I'm going to try to tell you to be more creative. And if that means jokes, like, cool, then we can iron it out from there. But start with creativity, start with a passion, and then refine it from there.
Fair enough, Jay King. Fair enough. I don't know if you were my writing tutor, how that would have gone. But I guess we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll sign up for next level writing.
You would have had a much easier time passing the bar if I had been your writing tutor.
I passed the bar with flying colors.
You wouldn't have even had to study for it.
That's not true. It's a very difficult test. You have to memorize so much. We've only clocked in 3 players. We have Tatum at 38 minutes, Nemi at 30, Payne Pritchard at 33. Let's go with Jaylen Brown, the workhorse of this team, the guy is like one of the most impressive things about his playoff run in 2024 was just like how ready he was to play against Luka Doncic, against the best player on the other team, and give you a full game. I would think it's north of 40. I would do 42.
So it's interesting because in the past, Tatum has always played more minutes
This is a different version, though.
than Jalen in the playoffs. And I don't know whether that's because like they think Tatum can just handle more minutes and there's something about Jalen's body or the way Jalen plays. You know, he, like you said, he's picking guys up full court. Maybe it's more strenuous. They've always limited his minutes comparatively. This year, I think he overtakes Tatum for the team lead and plays about 40. But the other variable here is, like we saw last year, the Thunder and Pacers, the two teams that got to the finals, they really limited minutes for almost anybody. And I don't think the Celtics will do that. I don't.
How big a rotation did the Thunder and
They were going like
Pacers,
10
like,
deep.
so do you think that's like they? Well, I guess this is part of the exercise. Is like we'll see how many guys we get to. It feels like there's a solid 9 that I can definitely say will get some minutes, but I don't know if the Celtics will get to 10. It kind of felt like the Thunder when they played the Celtics, they played 11 guys and no one could really get in a rhythm there. And so there has to be some sort of consistency. But yeah, I think like part of the benefit of those two teams is like they had a bunch of guys who were fresh and they played super hard when they were in the game. And so I think that's a reason why Brown sticks around 40 and he's not creeping up to like 44. Although I'm sure we're going to see some games where it's just like, especially later in the playoffs, if they get there, you just leave your best players on the
he
court.
played 40 after missing 2 games with left Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah, what did he say after the game about the injury? Is that just like they were giving 2 days
He said
off?
he felt fine and that he's going to be fine moving forward. Basically did not express any sort of concern.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great.
I'm penciling him for 40. What about Derek White? I'm curious to see what his playoff workload was in the previous seasons, and do you think it goes up just because of like unsure of where Tatum is? Because he feels like one of the more important players on the Celtics. All the kind of like advanced metrics in terms of like individual plus minus or whatever like net rating has Derek White as one of the more impactful players in the NBA this year, not just on the Celtics, but like the most impactful statistical player on the Celtics. So I would have to imagine he's on the court for the majority of this game. Do you think he's also doing 40?
I have to stop you first because I'm looking at his playoff stats. His first year with the Celtics, guess how many points he averaged in the playoffs?
8.
8.5. Like,
well,
that's
that was
ridiculous.
the finals run where they had traded for him, and he got benched oftentimes down the stretch for Marcus Smart.
And he obviously like that spurred him to become a much better shooter.
Well, they didn't even guard him in the finals because he was just so ineffective.
But how much has he improved? He averaged 8.5 points during his first playoff run with the Celtics. Like that feels impossible looking back. And obviously at the time that was just how it was. But like the fact that he only averaged 8.5 points is mind boggling. But I think he'll be up at like 38. I'd go 38.
I mean, that feels like it makes sense for just how important he is, and obviously they're going to shuffle these guys around. So that's like the core.
How many minutes are we at right now?
179. We have 61 left to distribute among the bench, and I think we've gone through 5 players. It's not their starting lineup. I think I was listening to Zach.
18
Loaded.
have to go to Vooch or Garza, or close to 18.
Well, that's the
if
question.
You want to play Tatum at center a little bit.
Well, if you want to play Tatum at center a little bit, you'd have to go a little bit 18 less or less than 18 for Vooch and Garza because we already have 30 for Nemi. And so it's like, how many minutes are we accounting for Tatum at the 5 per game?
I'll give like 3 per game.
So that's 15 minutes for a combination of Vooch and Garza. I would just pencil 1 in for 8 and 1 in for 7. 10 for Vooch, 5 for Garza.
Yeah, we'll give Garza 1 stint and Vooch 2.
This brings us to, you think Shireman's the starter?
Yeah.
And
No. No.
Hauser?
Hauser's going to start.
25 minutes a game, 20?
Classic Joe last night, by the way. Starting Shireman and Walsh. And
That was the whole
Hauser,
premise of this podcast, was trying to talk about Jordan Walsh.
and bringing Hauser off the bench, and then getting absolutely disgusted that Baylor took a twisting three from while falling out of bounds
With 7 seconds left on the shot clock.
the side of the backboard. Not even the side of the back, almost the back of the backboard. It was an incredible shot selection decision. And Joe immediately, he got up and pointed the bench immediately, and then
Hauser started the second half for Shireman.
And then Hauser started the second half. Yeah. So I do not think Joe was thrilled with that shot from Baylor Shireman.
Well, we've got 46 minutes left for the young wings between Shireman, Hauser, Ugo, and Walsh. How are you distributing those 46 minutes?
See, I feel like we got to take some of the main guy down.
Brown's at 40, Tatum's at 38, White's at 38.
I feel like you got to take some of those away and just keep those guys fresh. Obviously, Tatum had, he's still coming back from an Achilles, and Jalen, we saw last year, when he was physically diminished, he just wasn't the same in the playoffs at all. Keep him fresh. Keep Tatum fresh. I think we're going to have to lower that a little bit.
I took Derek White down to 37, Tatum down to 36, and Brown down to 38.
But these are the dilemmas that Joe is going to have to answer. And maybe we shouldn't be shaving minutes off Tatum.
But here's the question:
Brown. You should just play your best players more
That's
often.
my question.
Playoffs.
How often are you really want? Are you saying that because you want to see random stints from Ugo and Walsh, or are you saying that because you think Shireman deserves 25 minutes in a game, or Hauser deserves 25 minutes in the game?
Well, I think number one, those guys are important to the Celtics' identity. You need to be the energetic team. You need to be the crashing team. You need to have those guys guarding the best players on the other team for at least stints. And I think it's important to have those guys out there, whether it's Hauser, Baylor, Ugo, Jordan Walsh. They are, to me, a significant part of the Celtics' identity. Just the way they play, what separates them as a team, they're a big piece of that. And if you diminish them, I think you lose some of what makes you special. But also the other part of it is obviously Tatum and Brown are just better than those other guys. But at the same time, I think it's wise to just keep them fresh. And also by having Ugo and Baylor and Walsh, you wear down the other team too. It's not just you're keeping your own guys fresh. It's okay, they're picking up Jalen Brunson full court, or maybe they're just bothering Karl Towns, or making every Cade Cunningham touch really difficult. I think that's going to be important for the Celtics. So that's why I'm advocating right now to shave the minutes a little bit for the top guys and find some more time for the energy guys. And obviously, if it's game 6, game 7, ride your guys, ride your stars. But I think it's going to be important to lean on the depth, because the Celtics, their depth is a big differentiator for them, and it's a big deal. And I think over a long playoff run, we've seen recently teams with depth, it really matters at the end of the day.
We will figure out the rest of the minutes. But before, I want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The playoff push is heating up and tournament hoops are here. There's no better way to cash in if you're right on the high-flying hoops action than Prize Picks, where it feels good to be right. Every bucket, every dime, and every win means more when you're playing on Prize Picks. And with brand new team picks markets, you can pick game winners, spreads, and totals on top of the player picks you already know. So cash in if you're right during all the clutch buckets, slam dunks, and Cinderellas this spring with team picks on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is super easy. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few different player projections. Or now with the team picks, you can get in on those winners, spreads, and totals. You can even combine them. It's a super fun way to watch the game. So download the Prize Picks app today and pick your first game winner, spread, or total as the playoff push rolls on. You'll get $50 instantly in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Use code CLNS. That's code CLNS to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, Jay, looking at the spreadsheet now, I lowered the minutes for those main guys. So right now we have White at 37, Tatum at 36, Brown at 38, Nemi at 30. We got a comment from Joel Gonzalez saying there's no way Nemi's getting 30 with his fouling, which is going to be very interesting to see. That is a concern for me because I can't stress enough how critical Nemi is to this situation. So I think he needs to play 30 minutes a game. We got Peyton Pritchard at 33 minutes. We gave Vooch 10, Garza 5. And that means for the Wings, we have 51 minutes to distribute. Hauser feels like you said he's going to start. How many minutes per game do we think Hauser's getting? I'm thinking it's somewhere between the 20 to 25. And considering how fresh you want these teams to be, I would think you're closer at the higher end of that range.
I'll go 20. 20 for Hauser.
Do you think he and Baylor play similar amount of time?
Yeah, I do. I think
20 for Baylor.
Maybe 15 for Baylor.
15 for Baylor. I feel like Baylor, what's Baylor, since Baylor's become kind of starting the starting lineup, what's his minutes total been like?
He's played a lot.
Like, I feel like he's been a pretty consistent, like 25 north of that per game player.
Yeah, but a lot of the time they've had like somebody out.
Yeah.
Or so, but he has played. I mean, he's played at least 24 minutes in 14 of the last 16 games. So
you think, but you still think he's going to go down to 15 in the playoffs?
Yeah, we've already talked about how we don't have many minutes left.
Well, we got 16 minutes. I think he's going to be higher than that because we still have a decent, like, after shaving down those guys, we still have. We talked about how we're playing both Vooch and Garza here, so we already have a 10 deep rotation if we're playing both of those, and we haven't allocated any time for Ugo and Walsh. Do you think Walsh is going to get any minutes in the playoffs? Like, I think he's going to average probably like 2 minutes per game because like one game he might get 8, and then other games he's going to get a bunch of DNPs.
I think he or Ugo will play every once in a while.
I feel like Ugo's going to get a 6-minute stretch in every game just because they like bringing in the crazy Ugo energy. I feel like Ugo, no matter what, has gotten. When's the last time Ugo got a DNP? He comes in and gives you 6 crazy minutes, and that's kind of feels like what Joe is comfortable with. And I feel like Ugo's not going to play a lot of second halves, but he's going to give you a damn good stint in the start of the second quarter.
Ugo will give you one heck of a stint. Yeah, how many minutes? So we have 16 minutes left, you said?
It depends how much you're giving Shireman. You said 15, I said 20. We can split the difference and give him 18. Still 13 minutes left.
Let's go 20 for Shireman.
11 minutes left for Ugo, Walsh, or if you want to get really crazy, Max Schulda.
that would be really crazy. What about Ron Harper Jr.?
Ron Harper Jr. actually might deserve more minutes. Is it crazy to think he deserves more minutes than Walsh at this point?
I don't.
He's been better in his short stint of time and more consistent in that time than I feel like Walsh has.
See, I feel like Walsh has been very energetic. His defense has been right. His activity has been impressive. But yeah, I mean, Ron Harper Jr. is just solid. Like, he can actually play. He's far more advanced than his two-way contract would suggest, and you can trust him. But yeah, I just don't know who's gonna win like the wing battle there.
I think we could just put in young wing, and it might just change game from game. Like, it might be Ugo gets
So
that time.
Baylor Shireman is separate from the other young wings.
I think he has
And
established
he's
himself
in his own category.
as like he is the seventh man of this team. If Hauser's your starter, but kind of he is your sixth man because Pritchard's going to finish games, then I think Shireman has established himself as the like solidly seventh man. Then you have the weird platoon of Vooch and Garza, but then there's just young wing X, and it could be Ugo, it could be Harper, and it could be Walsh. And I don't think there's going to be, and maybe there's a hot hand and one of them is like, oh, one of these guys is playing well, we're going to keep going to them. But I think it's going to be largely matchup dependent. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe switched it up game to game or even half to half.
It could be like somebody misses 3 threes in a row. It's like out. You're gone. I mean, obviously we've seen Joe with one mistake. You're out of there. So yeah, I think I don't know how much of a leash there will be. Or actually I probably do know how much. There will be a short leash for all these guys, except probably Hauser and Baylor.
So right now we have 11 minutes.
His 3-point shooting is just super important, and his gravity is super important. And then Shireman has just been very, very solid in a lot of ways for a long time, except for that bonkers fucking 3 he took in Atlanta.
He has a tendency to do that. Right now we have 11 minutes for this young wing. I don't think even the young wing is going to get that much. I feel like we have to bump up some minutes. Like, I think young wing X is probably good for like 6 to 8 minutes a game. So it's like sprinkling a few minutes on. It could be the starters, could be Hauser, because Hauser's only at 20 right now. I feel like Hauser might be like 24. And then young wing X is like 7 minutes per game.
And then give a couple more to the big dogs.
Yeah, I just feel like Tatum is going to play minutes. I'm bumping him up. I'm bumping Brown up to 39. I'm bumping Hauser up to 22. And then I'm giving 7 minutes to Young Wing X.
Young Wing X.
So the official totals, the still potable for this exercise. Derek White, 37 minutes. Jason Tatum, 37 minutes. Jaylen Brown, 39. Nemi, 30. Baylor Shireman, 20. Peyton Pritchard, 33. Hauser, 22. Vooch Garza, we just gave 15 minutes between the two of them. I could see Garza getting a bunch of DNPs, but I could also see Vooch playing 10 minutes and Garza getting just like 5 minutes per game. But we just allocated 15 minutes for the two of them. That gives us about 3 minutes per game with Tatum at the 5 or some sort of small ball lineup where you have no official center on the court. And then we have 7 minutes for Young Wing X, which is Ugo, Walsh, or Ron Harper Jr. Jay, how are you feeling about our minutes distribution?
I think it's pretty good. As Joel Gonzalez asked, is there any chance Joe shelves Luka and gives Vooch 20-plus minutes?
He could shelve Luka. I don't know if he's going to give Vooch 20-plus minutes a game.
He could. Like Nemi 28, Vooch 20.
I think Vooch is such a target defensively that it's just like you're just scrambling every time he's on the court. And I don't know how like in the playoffs, it feels like the idea of like the weak link theory where you just can't have a target on either end of the court to extend the minutes where that is the case, especially against it's less an issue in the first round, like I guess depending on the matchup. But in the second round, if you are playing James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Brunson, or Cade Cunningham, like you just can't have a pick and roll target on the court for that long, that amount of time in a game.
Yeah, and you might be right. But also, like, their defense has been pretty good with Vooch on the court so far, and they've been able to figure out ways around it. Obviously, it's different in the playoffs when there's so much more into the scouting report, and there's so much more purpose about how teams run their offense, and if they smell blood, they're gonna go after it. But yeah, I'm not willing to say right now that Vooch will be like this enormous minus on defense, especially when he plays, I don't know how many of his minutes against bench units when some of those stars will be sitting.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where he's at. He was supposed to get an X-ray up.
Their defensive rating with him on the court is 99 so far, which is ridiculous.
Pretty
And I'm not saying that he's a great defender or that will remain the case in the playoffs, and certainly he will be susceptible in some matchups. But I'm just not there yet thinking like, all right, he's 100% going to be like unplayable to a certain extent in the playoffs.
I don't think he's unplayable. I just don't think you're going to want to ride the minutes for that long. Just because I think Nemi is that much better than him, and if you're gonna want Nemi, you have a prescription, and you have a fever, and the only prescription is more Nemi. Like him avoiding foul trouble is huge for the Celtics. Like he needs to be on the court, just because vertical spacing and just like rim protection he offers, and just to be able to guard guys in space on a switch in the pick and roll, I think is super important for this team defensively, and just be able to play two ways. And so I think there's going to be a bunch of postseason previews about like the X factor for the Boston Celtics. Pencil it in right now. Nemi's the X factor.
You're just doing a lot of penciling in right now.
Well, that's what we're doing right now. We're not writing in pen. We're not
penciling
writing
in
pen.
X factor, penciling in minutes, penciling it all.
I mean, you're the one teaching writing. You write in pencil first, and then you go back and edit.
I think you write on computers these days mostly.
Oh, sure. When you edit, do you ever read out loud to yourself? That's like my least favorite thing is editing anything I've ever written, but I'm so much better at it if I actually read it out loud, because when I'm trying to edit something I've written, I just read what it should be there instead of what I actually wrote on the paper.
That's weird.
It's bad. It's not good.
You're just reading figments of your imagination.
Yeah, I process information if I say it out loud. I'll just skip ahead in my brain if I'm not saying it out loud. You
must have been horrible to sit next to when you're doing stuff like that.
I mean, most of my writing is a moment of solitude. I wouldn't do that on like a test. I just wouldn't edit.
Yeah, I find it baffling that you have to read it out loud to yourself for your brain to work.
It's just the way my brain works. I process things auditory. That's why I didn't make it as a writer, Jay. I made it as a podcaster.
You made it, though. You made it.
I'm here, and you guys are all along for the ride. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back later this week.
Hold on. How sure are we that Garza should get minutes? Has he earned minutes no matter what?
I'm not even sure Garza is. I think he might deserve minutes more than Vooch.
Yeah,
I think Garza might be better.
Absolutely
than
a conversation. Vooch. I think that's absolutely a possibility.
Garza's shooting better from three than Vooch. He's more of a floor spacer than Vooch is, and he's a hustle guy.
Yeah,
he gives you stuff on the offensive glass that no other big man really gives you.
Yeah.
Like that's why I couldn't make a decision between like how to like really split them, because I think how many games have we seen Garza and Vooch together? Like Garza he got a bunch of DNPs, but that was because it's like we just got this new guy Vooch. It feels like we're trying to work him into the system. We're trying to figure some things out. I don't know if that was a pure like cold, heartless talent evaluation thing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some matchups just like Young Wing X, or it's just like Garza gives us a better chance right now.
Yeah. I'm 100% of the belief that it's possible Luka Garza deserves more minutes than Vooch. And I don't know how that will go, but I think Joe should be open to the idea at least that sometimes at least it should be Luka's night. What he's done offensively has just been really impressive. He's shooting 67% on twos. He's shooting 43.9%, I think, on threes. He's a force on the offensive glass, like one of the better offensive rebound rates in the entire league. He's just a legitimately good offensive player. Obviously, you deal with some defensive limitations with him, but they know how to play with him. He knows how to play with them. Vooch has had very limited minutes with the Celtics. And, yeah, I don't think it's 100% Vooch.
I don't think it is either. I think Garza's played his way into being relevant. We shall see. Is there any update on Vooch? Like, wasn't he supposed to have an X-ray recently? Like, is he going to get some games before the playoffs? Because, like, if he doesn't have time to really, like, work his way back in, I feel like it's even more reason to try and lean on Garza in that circumstance.
So Vooch should be nearing a return within a week or so, based on the initial timeline.
Still doesn't give him much time to, like, it gives him 3 games to kind of figure things out before, like, 3 games that could be meaningless where they're resting guys.
And then some significant practice time before the first round. And then first round shouldn't be too strenuous unless maybe you get, like, the Hornets and you're a real Hornets believer.
Or you have to have someone defend Joel Embiid and Nemi's in foul trouble.
That could be Vooch's role. He could be the Joel Embiid guy. You go from Al Horford to Vooch.
This is why we pencil things in, Jay, because a lot of this is matchup dependent. You got to be able to turn that thing around and use the eraser.
Got to have the eraser.
You like a number 2 pencil or mechanical pencil kind of guy?
Ticonderoga.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, that's going to do it for us, folks. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with a Potable post-game show. If you want all the post-game shows, if you want us Monday through Friday, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Be back tomorrow with more Still Potable.
Still potable, still potable. The Boston Celtics still potable.